Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome. Today, I'm going to be talking with an old friend of mine, Simon Brown, who is the founder of the ESTAS. Now, the ESTAS is a review platform, and I have been lucky enough to have hosted the ESTAS Awards every year in London for the last, is it 15 years, Simon? I think I've been doing it.
It's actually 17 years, Phil. You're 2 years out.
I've always loved the ESTAS right from the outset, really, because it is a very different form of awards. There's lots of awards, and I have hosted various different types of awards, but the ESTAS is special and I think fairly unique in that it gets the customers to review the estate agents. It is an estate agency award platform, but it is the customers. So it's the people that receive the customer service that are actually doing the reviewing, and therefore that they are the judges. It's not about the big corporates with the big marketing budgets and the fancy brochures. I think it's a very special thing, and it's a very special thing to win an ESTA. So I'm really pleased to talk today to Simon about how it came about and what it all means. Simon, so how did it come about? It was your idea way back when?
It was, yeah. It was a few years ago now, Phil. It was actually Sarah, my wife, who's also my business partner, that started the ball rolling. She took up a job working part-time for a local estate agent, and at the time, my perception was probably very similar to most people's perception of estate agents. I thought it was a reasonably easy way to make money. You would put a for sale sign in the front garden of a house, charge the seller probably around 2%, maybe a little bit more in terms of a percentage fee, and sell the house within a few weeks, and it was all quite simple. It was only when Sarah started coming back home after her days in the office that I began to realise what a difficult job it really was. And she worked for a small independent agent, and they tried really, really hard and did a really, really good job for their clients. And I think, well, that was what instigated the whole idea. But as you said, there are lots of awards out there. And most of them are based on a written submission. So an estate agent would fill out a form saying why they think they should win an award, etc., etc., etc. And we really wanted to change that, to turn it on its head. We wanted the awards to be judged by the consumer, by the customer, by the people that are actually buying and selling the houses. And we insisted right from the word go, and this hasn't changed, it's still the same today, that the ratings or the review that are given by the customer to the estate agent have to be done after the customer has moved house. So this isn't a review that's given after a couple of weeks of the estate agent being instructed to sell a property. Yeah. It's a review that's given right at the end of the transaction, and that's really, really important that the reviews that are received by the agent are genuine. They're coming from real customers.
Can we just talk through how that review takes place? So does the agent invite their customer? Would you be interested in sending a review? I mean, just talk me through the...
Yeah, so an agent, and it should be pointed out that at this point that our review platform has estate agents, letting agents, mortgage brokers, conveyancers, or most consumers would or viewers that are listening or watching would say solicitors. All of those types of firms can use our review platform, and it's up to them whether they sign up to use it. But it says something about firms that use our platform, that they already have an ethos that is around service. Now, there are firms out there who don't have a service ethos. and many of your viewers will have some interesting
Many of my
stories.
viewers.
Yeah, they'll know who they're
I know
coming.
what you meant, Simon, but that came out badly.
Yeah, no. So yes, so we already know that if you see an ESTAS agent, you're already dealing with an agent that has a commitment to delivering the highest quality service that they possibly can. So once they've signed up, they would then send out the invite to the seller and the buyer, and I'm talking on the sales side rather than the letting side for the moment, at the end of every transaction.
Yeah.
So the invite goes out from the agent automatically on completion, and then obviously the seller and the buyer can then complete that review, submit that, and then it comes directly to us. And then
So it never goes back to the agent. The agent doesn't actually
the
know.
agent does see it. The agent does see it, but it comes to us at the same time.
Okay.
So the agent does see it. They can reply to it.
Yeah.
If it's a negative review, they can obviously engage with the client and find out what the problem was. But we then rank agents regionally and nationally based on the reviews that we receive.
Okay. What are they given a mark out of 10 or something?
It's a percentage score out of 100.
Okay, got it.
So they are asked questions, and it's a short survey. It's only 5 questions, but they rate the agent from poor up to excellent, and we convert those ratings into a percentage score out of 100. So it's not just a 4 or 5 star rating. It's actually a percentage score, and the agent then displays that on their website, and that is their ESTAS customer service rating.
Got it. One of the things I've always liked about your model is that the genuine independent, the one-man band, can compete on a particular completely level playing field with the massive corporate that's got offices all over the country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always been what we call a branch versus branch competition. You know, it's not about, you know, as you say, a big corporate that might have 100 or so offices competing against a small independent agent. It's if that big corporate company has a single branch in a high street, then they are competing with the other single branches within that respective high street.
And it is purely down to the customer care, the level of advice, and how they made their clients feel.
Yeah, and that's important. It is service. I mean, we all know that things can go wrong. You know, it's a
yes.
And
buying and selling a house is a process that's fraught with hurdles, and it's emotional and it's financial, and things do go wrong. In fact, you know, it is known to be a stressful process, but I also think that people involved in it understand that it's not always smooth sailing, but it's how that gets dealt with by the people involved that makes the difference.
Absolutely. That I always say that is that people often nowadays talk about the customer experience, and I have always said that customer experience and customer service are 2 very different things. So it's possible to have a customer experience with a company without actually receiving service. I think the service comes in when something goes wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Service, you and I could book a hotel on bookings.com or hotels.com. The customer experience can be great, but there's not actually any service there. You haven't had any interaction with another human. And I think that the service comes in when there's a problem, and it's how that agent or that conveyancer or that mortgage broker deals with that problem.
Yeah.
We all know, we all accept that there can be issues, but it's how the agent reacts to those that sets them apart.
Yeah, completely agree. So as a consumer, what would you recommend that people look for when they are trying to choose an agent, whether that's to sell through or to rent through or whatever? What should the consumers be mindful of?
I think a lot of it's to do with a lot of it's to do with empathy, isn't it? You know, you typically, if you're selling a house, you'd invite, I would say, a minimum of 3 agents round to give you a valuation and pitch for your business effectively. And we all make judgments, I think, on a human level very, very quickly about whether we're going to get on with someone or not. So you've got to use your gut feel. Obviously, you want to know how they're going to market the property, which they will do through the property portals. And there are more portals coming onto the market now. It isn't just a case of Zoopla or Rightmove.
Yeah.
So that's a massive factor. But I think the other thing as well is how quickly they respond initially to your questions or your communications. I know when I sold a house a couple of years ago, that was one of the things that helped me determine which agent I was going to use. So the agents would then go away after the initial valuation, send a proposal through, and the agent, there were 3 agents. One of them came back very quickly, within 48 hours. The other 2 not so quickly, and that was a good indication to me of how keen they were to have your business. So
how should the consumers interpret an ESTAS review or an ESTAS satisfaction score?
I think I would say to consumers, I would like consumers to be saying to agents, are you an ESTAS agent? How do you measure your service? You know, how do I know that you're going to give me a good service? And lots of agents will use customer reviews. But our reviews are verified. We have a team of people that verify the reviews. So unlike some of the other online review platforms, we contact the customers that have left the review. We make sure that they are genuine, that they have been completed at the end of the process. So we want to encourage consumers to ask agents, you know, what reviews have you got? I'm not saying that they have got to be part of the ESTAS community, or it would be lovely if they all were. But they need to ask agents how they can justify that. Every agent will say we give great service. That's the standard sentence on their websites. But how do they prove that? And I think the review platform that we've developed really does genuinely highlight agencies that will try really hard for their customers.
Well, as you said earlier on, actually, for an agent to put themselves up for the ESTAS, it says out loud that we care about customer satisfaction and we endorse ourselves because we're going to bust a gut to get them.
Absolutely, and you've seen it, Phil. You've stood at that very lectern, and I think that in my office.
But it is. I mean, it is quite a thing because
it's emotional, isn't it? You
get 1,000 agents in that room, all with customer service at their heart, and you know they want to win. There's a big thing behind winning an ESTAS. Not only is it recognition for their customer service and their hard work, but also it helps their marketing and their individual profiles as well.
Absolutely, and you know, there are agents that have been entering for, you know, 9, 10, 11 years in a row. And they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't genuinely think that it was helping them. But
what do you think it means to them winning one?
I just think, like you said, it's hard work. It's really hard work being an estate agent. You know, there is a misconception that it's as I said earlier, an easy way to make a living, and it genuinely isn't. And customers have a lot of choice now. There's the online agents. There's a self-employed estate agent. There's this hybrid model, and there's traditional high street agents. So customers have got a lot of choice. Agencies don't charge huge fees, no matter what the general public think. If you compare the agency fees in this country to other countries, it's very low, very low. I think the average is probably 1.2%, something like that. And it's hard work. There's a lot of overheads involved in marketing a property. So
I guess people have thought when and it doesn't happen very often, but when it goes smoothly, it looks easy. As you said, pop the sign up, a couple of people look round, one agrees the price, job done, send me the money.
yeah.
But it so rarely happens like that.
Well,
It's a very complex thing, and it's a bit of a thankless task at times.
We all know that I think there are two factors. I think the fact is that because people don't move so often, I think the average now is something like once every 20 years.
Is it really as much as that? Yeah, it used to be 1 in 7.
It did. It used to be 1 in 7. So people may only move twice, once or twice in their lifetime. So they don't understand the process as much as maybe people did, our generation. I use that term loosely. So that's one factor.
In order to win an ESTA, you've got to have a lot of favourable reviews from your customers that you've helped along the way. But that can't happen all the time. What happens when there are less favourable review comments?
You're absolutely right. So we have the algorithm that we use to determine the final scores for each agent is based on the average percentage score out of 100, but we take into account the volume of reviews that are received. So the more reviews that an agent receives, the higher their end score in the ESTAS competition.
Okay.
So, and there is a minimum number of reviews that an agent must receive in order to win an award.
So if somebody got 10 reviews and they were all brilliant, actually, that doesn't quite cut it.
That doesn't work. And I have to say that agents, they want to know, they want the bad reviews. They need to know they can only get better, they can only improve their service. Yes. And this is why I always say ESTAS agents stand out, because you're not going to enter the ESTAS if delivering good service is not part of your company ethos, then it's simply not for you. So we know that ESTAS agents are genuinely trying to give good service, but as you say, they have to, the scoring mechanism, the way it works is that they have to have quite a large volume of reviews in order to have any chance of even being shortlisted, let alone winning a regional or even a national award.
It's interesting because that there are companies that have made a lot of money selling houses and letting houses, but haven't provided the service, but they've been hugely successful businesses. And then there are other companies that have provided fantastic service but not made a lot of money. And I guess the really neat businesses are the ones that do both, that meet in the middle.
Yeah,
it's a very, very important and delicate role that they play.
I mean, there are the figure is probably somewhere around 20,000 estate agents, estate and letting agents in the UK. So there's lots of them. And I think many smaller agents just aren't particularly switched on at promoting their service.
Yeah.
It's some of them just it's not their style. And what we try and do is give them a kite mark.
Yes.
Which they can just put on their website or in their window, which just says we will try really hard, genuinely, to give you a good service.
And what for the future, Simon? You've been doing this a long time, and it's really got a big mark in the industry, as I've seen when I get 1,000 estate agents in the room celebrating their ESTAS awards. But there is a lot of recognition for the ESTAS and what it means now. But how can consumers get involved? How can they help?
Well, by filling out the reviews. It's a great way to measure your estate agent and whether you've had a bad service or a good service from an agent. We genuinely want to flag up and highlight those agents that are doing a good job, and the consumers can really help us to do that. you know, the next thing that we're going to be launching is an ESTAS directory, which will sit on our website. And so consumers will be able to go onto the website and actually find out which agents in their area use the ESTAS platform. And that will give them some indication as to, you know, how committed they are to, you know, delivering a high quality service. But we really want to, I do think, genuinely do feel that the industry as a whole has an unfair perception. You know, we said it earlier in the interview, but, you know, they're not all bad. You know, there's some genuinely good, local, independent, a lot of them are family businesses, and they serve their community really well.
Which is why it's important to get out and celebrate them, because you're absolutely right. And genuinely, I love what the ESTAS do, and I love what you all stand for. And I wish that actually your methodology was recreated in quite a number of other industries. I think it would help everyone. It is proper.
Yeah,
it is the way a review system should be.
I think the one last thing I would say is that, you know, customers are intelligent people. Customers are more and more savvy, and customers know when reviews are genuine and when they're not genuine. You know, if you just see a row of 5-star reviews on a company's website, that immediately makes the consumer suspicious. Quite rightly, it would mean it would you. So we know that the reviews that we generate for an agent are genuine. Some of them aren't great. Some of them are. And I think it's really important that customers understand that not all review platforms are the same. But because of the way we verify their reviews, we know they can be trusted. Trusted reviews for trusted agents is our strapline.
Keep going, Simon. Keep doing what you're doing.
I will, and I look forward to seeing you next June.
Let's celebrate good customer service in the property industry all over again.
Excellent.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Phil.
Nice to talk to you.
Take care.
See you, bye.